So go to chapter 15, productivity and division of labor. So when we talk about productivity, it's the rate at which goods are being produced, the rate at which goods are being produced, the amount spent on them, whatever that comes across what has been produced is all about productivity. So let's go down and see where it starts from. All right, productivity. They said business can produce more output there, right? That's the first page, right? Businesses can produce more output if productivity can be raised. Productivity is the output per unit of input. So the formula for productivity is output divided by input. So the inputs are the factors of production. That's labor or capital. Yeah. So for example, the productivity of labor is the output per worker. It can be calculated by dividing the total output by the numbers of workers employed. So for what is being produced, divided by the numbers of workers that are used to produce it. That's labor productivity. So if productivity increases, then output will definitely increase. So raising productivity in an economy is highly desirable. It means that, the next paragraph, please. Raising productivity in an economy is highly desirable. It means that more goods and services can be produced with the same or fewer resources. Countries are likely to measure and monitor productivity levels in their economy. So if productivity has to be raised within an economy, or if an economy is witnessing raise in productivity, it would have meant that the economy has produced more goods and services using fewer or less resources. Did you get it? Okay. So we'll go to factors of production. I think the point is clear there.
Yeah.
For productivity to increase, it would have meant that output will increase. And for that to happen, it would have meant that the inputs, maybe labor, has done its job effectively. That would bring about increase in productivity. Factors affecting productivity. Productivity can improve if businesses make better use of their resources. There are numbers of ways raising the productivity of production factors outlined below. So before we go into the factors affecting productivity, when we talk about productivity, basically it's because there's production. And when we started the lesson, I said productivity means the measurement of the rate of production. So that means there's production. Production would not come without the factors of production. So whatever we do with productivity would have started with the factors of production. So those factors affecting productivity would be factors of production. Do you get the point there?
Yeah.
So we're starting with the first one. They said land. Land is one of the factors of production, yes or no? So the quality of land varies. Some is fertile and can be used to grow crops or farm cattle. Other land is dry or mountainous and is almost useless. However, measures can be used to make agricultural land more productive. So land is one of the factors of production, and it's either helping productivity to increase or to reduce productivity. So because it is land, we said it is fixed in nature, and it means that whatever is on land is land itself. So we're talking about plantation, we're talking about the sea, we're talking about the river, we're talking about whatever it is that is on land. So if productivity has to increase through land, it has to be a land that is fertile, that is nutritious.
Yeah. So
if the land is not fertile, that means it's useless. It can't be used in the production in agriculture. And what is agriculture? Agriculture is the cultivation of plants, rearing of animals for the benefit of man. So planting of crops, rearing of animals for the benefit of man is agriculture. We can't do these things without a fertile land. So for productivity to increase, we have to start putting consideration into land. So what are those things that would bring up the quality or will improve the quality of land? One, fertilizers and pesticides. Fertilizers are chemicals given to plants to improve their health and appearance and raise crop yields. Pesticides are used to kill pests. However, pesticides and some fertilizers can harm people, wildlife, and the environment. This is why there are strict controls in place over their sale and use. In agriculture, they use fertilizer to increase, to protect the crops. They use pesticides to take away pests. Pests are things that destroy the plants. So these things are used, but they are also harmful to the health of the people. So in as much as we use them to boost the quality of land or to improve the quality of land, we have to also think about the other side of it, which is the human life, the wildlife. So that's why there's always strict control regarding fertilizers and pesticide. But it is one of the things that can be used to improve or improve the quality of land. Is it clear? That's fertilizer. The second one, drainage. Some areas of land are unproductive because they are flooded. Drainage can be used to improve the flow of water off its land and thereby make it more productive. So drainage system allows to separate water from land. So most of the time, maybe because we have land, but because of flood, we cannot plant crops on them. As soon as we plant, flood wipes them away. So we need a drainage system that would separate water that we don't need with the land. So for land to have its quality that is needed for agriculture, drainage must happen, especially where there is flooded, where there is a situation for flood. So that's another way to increase or improve the quality of land. Clear. The third one, irrigation. For irrigation, this involves redirecting of water. So in the desert, it is expected not to have water, yes or no? So, but they could use the desert for planting. So how are they going to be able to do that? They have to make sure that there's irrigation system. So the irrigation system will direct water to the desert so that the desert will not be useless. It will be used to plant crops. That's another way to improve the quality of land. Clear? Reclamation. In some circumstances, it is possible to create new land from oceans, riverbeds, or lakebeds. Clearly, if more fertile land can be found to grow crops, the productivity of the earth's land will rise. To reclaim land, water is drained from wetlands. So for reclamation, it only means we are trying to discover new land. Because if we are able to discover new land, it means we will be able to increase the use of land. Do you understand? So this is where the wetlands will be turned to land so that it can be used for production. Is that clear? And the last one, genetically modified crops. Land productivity has been increased. Producing GM plants involves transferring genes and DNA from one organism to another. This results in plants that are less likely to be affected by disease. Many produce higher yields and, in some cases, more appealing to consumers. However, there have been some opposition to the development of GM crops because genetic engineering is unpredictable. By adding genes from organisms that have never been eaten as food, new proteins are introduced into food chain. There's concern that this could cause allergic reactions or other negative health effects. So, to increase land productivity, they come up, this is scientific approach. But the problem about using this kind of approach is that it is not predictable based on the fact that we don't know what the result will be. You are just transferring from some genes to other genes, or other plants that are not the same. So the result is not known, it's uncertain. As a result, it becomes difficult to decide or to determine the health consequence of such situation. So that's why they don't want to use it. But most of the time it is useful for plant cultivation because it increases the number of crops we have. So, but for me, I will see it as a way to improve land productivity. But when you look at the consequences, diseases, health issues, the world is even, there's enough already. Not talk about creating more. So they might not really take it. It's not something that, it's not convincing anyway. It's not convincing. But it is one of the methods that we can use to increase the level of land, with the quality of land. So we move on. So we go to labor, which is another factor of production. For labor, it's the quality of human capital can be, okay, for labor, it is the human effort, either mentally or physically. That is labor. So here, if you are talking about productivity, it means we want to improve the quality of labor. Because if we are able to improve the quality of labor, then productivity will increase or improve. So let's see what they wrote. If the quality of human capital can be improved, what is human capital? We said it already, that it's the value that is being added by individual employees. That is human capital. So your value. So to increase that value you had to the organization, there are some things that has to take place. Like, for example, training. So before we go in, we said, if the quality of human capital can be improved, there will be gains in labor productivity. We said labor productivity is output divided by number of workers. So if we want less workers for more output, it means labor must improve in terms of its quality, in terms of what it gives.
Yeah.
So one way to do that is training. So here there is. One way to improve the quality of human capital is to invest in training. Training involves increasing the knowledge and skills of workers so they can do their jobs more effectively. Training is important because it allows employees to acquire new skills, improve existing ones, perform better, and be better leaders. It also helps to improve employee motivation, so productivity will be higher. It's also important since training involves, in part, teaching new staff how to work safely in their new environment. So, for training, it improves your skills, it improves your know-how. It makes you to know more than what you used to know. So all these things, when you put them together, it will increase productivity. So if firms are willing to increase their productivity, they should try to invest in training. Though they are always reluctant to do it, because most of the time when they train employees become attractive. Employees become attractive to competitors, and they wouldn't have any other choice to leave, and nothing that the employer could do. So that's one of the reasons why employers do not feel reluctant or insist on not wanting to train employees. But to increase productivity, you have to train your workers. They need to know more so that they can work effectively. Is it clear?
Yes.
So the government can help to improve now. That is for employers. Now let's look at how government can come into human capital. They wrote, the government can help to improve the quality of human capital by investing in the education system. This might involve providing more equipment for schools and improving the quality of teaching. To equip young people with the skills needed in the workplace, a government might invest more in vocational education. That can also improve the productivity of their workers by providing their own training. So, in all, for productivity to increase, we need the human capital to improve, right? So for human capital to improve, we need training. Not only from employers, the government can also invest in training. Because if the economy, the population, the workforce, let's put it that way, if the workforce are educated and trained, they'll become attractive. And that could be a source for FDI to come into the economy. So if they find out, if multinationals find out that the workforce in an economy are fully equipped, they might want to set up. But if they find out that the economy is not, the educational level or the training level in that economy is not worth it, they wouldn't want to invest. So government might want to attract multinationals by investing in education. So if you invest in education, it brings about training. That means investing in education would not only have impact on the trainee, it will also impact on those that the trainees will train.
But now look at private schools.
With what?
With private schools, is that right?
Yeah, private school, yeah. No, but when you look at private school, it's not government power startup. We're talking about the public school now. So government could invest in public schools. Not only that, government could come up with different training centers sponsored by government to improve the skills of the population. So if that is done, those that have received those training would also impact it on others. So before you know it, the economy, the population would have, become more skilled. Then that could attract foreign direct investment into the economy. And then any economy that is educated will have high productivity. Is it clear?
Yes.
Another way to increase the labor productivity is to improve their motivation, the motivation of employees. So if people are motivated at work, they will be more productive. One way of motivating staff is to use a financial incentive scheme, such as piece rates. And for piece rates, it means you pay them according to what they produce, which involves paying workers according to how much they produce. However, some workers are not motivated by money, so non-financial incentives might be needed. So you have to start thinking about perks, like other benefits that is not financial. For example, a firm might use job rotation. Yes, you can use job rotation. For job rotation, it means you switch them from one department to another department, so they gain different knowledge. So what this is good for workers that feel bored sitting in, or doing just one specific task. So you move them around. That could bring about job satisfaction.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
For job satisfaction, we have job enrichment, job rotation, and job enlargement. So for you to be happy with your job, it's either it's rotating, or it's enriching you, or it's been enlarged, that means you have more tasks to do.
And so job rotation is also to decrease boredom, right?
Yeah, it decreases boredom. It means that you can move around.
This is boredom, it increases motivation.
It increases your motivation. Then you like, okay, yeah, you know that you have different knowledge, and that could, ginger you to do more. The third way to increase labor productivity is to improve working practices. The way labor is organized and managed can affect productivity. Working practices are the methods and systems of work that employees are expected to adopt when taking on the job. Labor productivity has been improved significantly by adopting new working practices. For example, it will be possible to change the factory layout by moving workstations or reorganizing the flow of production. Such changes can improve labor productivity because workers may not have to move around as much. So for work practices, we're talking about the system at work. Make it flexible for workers to be able to suit it, to be able to fit it into the system.
Yeah.
So whatever system you are using, ensure that it is palatable, it is conducive for your employees or your workers.
Yeah.
If it's not, then they cannot improve their productivity. They will be demotivated.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Migration. It might be possible to improve the quality of human capital by attracting skilled workers from overseas, expatriates. If immigrants are well trained and highly skilled, then an economy is likely to become more productive as a result of their presence in the labor market. However, many immigrants are not skilled, but still make a positive contribution to productivity. This may be because an untrained migrant childminder might release a highly skilled parent for work. For example, many countries in the world openly attract large numbers of overseas workers. So, immigration. Another way to increase or to improve human capital is through immigration. Because when I'm a teacher here, I'm not a migrant, I'm a Nigerian,
Yeah.
I'm an immigrant here, so I'm more like I'm an expatriate. So coming here, I'm going to impact knowledge because I'm skilled, I'm trained, I'm going to impact knowledge into the economy. So training you, teaching you allows you to do more, go to the university, graduate, then you work. Then you're going to contribute to the economy.
Yeah.
So immigrants coming into the country would, one way or the other, directly or indirectly, help the human capital of that economy.
Yeah.
And if that is done, those that are being impacted on will be able to contribute to the economy. Is it clear? That's about migration. Now we go to capital, which is the third factor of production. Are you there?
Yeah.
Improvements in productivity often arise because of the introduction of new technology. Improvements may occur because more capital is employed, possibly at the expense of labor, or because new technology is more efficient than existing technology. Advances in technology have helped improve productivity in all the three sectors of the economy. So for capital, in the economies, capital is human-made resources that helps in the production of goods and services. So example of capital is technology. So if technology is used, it would have been either is replacing workers or it's replacing an old technology. So these two things, if advancement in technology has replaced either of these two things, it will bring about productivity, increase in productivity. Do you get the point or not?
Yeah.
So that is about capital. So now they said advancements in technology has helped both in the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary sector. So how does it happen? In the primary sector, it's basically primary production, which means extraction of raw materials. But with technology, this extraction becomes faster, better. Not going to be like, there are tractors, there are equipment, there are even, what's it called? What do we call them? Oh, what do we call them? Drones that even plant crops.
Yeah.
So this is technology. So what drones will do, human will not do it in with the same specific time, given the same time. So technology has changed the look, the face of primary production. That is the point I'm making there. I think it's clear. So they use drones to fumigate. Technology has changed different things. So productivity is increasing because of advancements in technology. That is for primary production. For secondary production, new technology has featured significantly in manufacturing. Many factories and production lines employ complex plant and equipment. This has led to huge productivity. One example is the use of robots and can handle a lot of repetitive work in factories. Robots have reduced the need to employ people in jobs that were boring and demotivating. Another example is the use of computer numerical control, CNC machines. These computerized machines come in a variety of forms. They be involved in processes such as cutting, pressing, molding, sewing, and welding. In the manufacturing sector, that is rampant with the use of heavy equipment, heavy machinery. These jobs that they do in the manufacturing sector involves a lot of power, which it's not good for human. So replacing human with robots will get the job done better and more effectively. Did you get it?
Yes.
And also with advancement in technology, jobs that get workers to be demotivated because they are boring or repetitive, they use machines to do them. They use robots to do them. So as a result, robots do not have feelings. So they won't get bored. They'll continue to work until they need to be, maintained, or they need to, upgrade them or upgrade them again. So they're not like human. So that's about the manufacturing sector, how labor productivity can increase. Productivity can increase in the manufacturing sector if there's advancement in technology. With advancement in technology, it means that things will be done in a better way without wasting resources. Clear?
Yeah.
Then in the tertiary sector. The tertiary sector to me needs more of human than machine. So let's see anyway. The provision of services has historically been labor intensive, but the use of technology is becoming more widespread. For example, in retailing, there has been a huge growth in internet shopping in the last few years. In some mass supermarkets, there's unstaffed checkout systems. The packaging used today is lighter, stronger, and more attractive. In healthcare, there have been dramatic technological advances in medicine and surgical techniques that have improved productivity. Developments in new vaccines and drugs have reduced patients suffering and cured some serious diseases. Surgeons can carry out surgery using lasers, viewing the operations on the screen with the use of fiber optic cables. So for the tertiary sector, which deal with services, it is labor intensive. Traditionally, historically, it is labor intensive because you need to interact with people. That is why it is service.
Yeah.
But with advancement in technology, it makes those jobs to become better in terms of how they do it. Though it does not improve human relationship, but it increases the output of the job based on the fact that with technology, you get things done in a better version than how it used to be done. That is tertiary sector service. Is it clear? Okay. We're going to division of labor. We're talking about division of labor. Division of labor is the breaking down of production process into different stages, which can be performed by different people. That is division of labor. And we used to say that division of labor would lead to specialization. No, specialization leads to, division of labor leads to specialization. So if the job is divided, so you're taking up math, I'm taking up business, she's taking up economics, he's taking up accounting. So he or she continues to do that job. There becomes a specialist in that job. That's why we say division of labor leads to specialization. Do you get that? Do you understand what division of labor is now? The breaking down of production process to different stages. And each stage can be performed by different people. So these different people become specialized in that stage. And that's specialization. You get it? So specialization means you are doing what you know how to do best. You get it? Or you say specialization is the concentration of individuals, firms, or government, or country, individuals, firms, or country in one aspect of production. So the concentration you have in one aspect of production is specialization. But before you have that concentration, the job was divided. That makes you to focus on that aspect. Division of labor leads to specialization. Is it clear? So what does specialization bring about, or division of labor? It increases efficiency and productivity. How? Because that individual will be doing what he knows how to do, or that individual will be doing what she knows how to do. And doing what you know how to do, you do it best. Do you get it? You won't be wasting time. So what are the advantages of division of labor to the worker? Are you there? An individual worker will benefit from focusing on one specific work task, but there will also be some disadvantages. So we have to check both. Focusing on the same task allows the worker to become more skilled at doing that task. That means you become a specialist. That's an advantage. It is often said that practice makes perfect. And constant repetition of the same tasks will usually mean a worker will get better and better. Therefore, workers with well-practiced skills will be able to find employment more easily. Also, the more highly skilled they are, the more they are likely to get paid. Workers can also learn new skills or improve their existing ones. For example, an IT worker would need to keep updated. We need to keep updated with new technological development. Finally, workers may enjoy more job satisfaction. I talked about job satisfaction before. If they are highly skilled in a specialist task. So this is the summary of the advantages of division of labor. When there's division of labor, it means you have concentrated on one aspect of production. The first thing that it brings is it improves your skill. It improves your skills as an individual. So as soon as your skills are improved, you become attractive to employers. That's another advantage. You become attractive to employers because you are doing what others are not doing. Having said that, because you are attractive to employers, the demand for your job is more than the supply of your job. That means you are expected to get more pay. So your salary is expected to increase. Your income level will decrease. That's another advantage. Do you get it? That means it becomes easier for you to find employment anywhere because of the kind of skills you possess. Is it clear?
Yes.
So at the end of it all, because you are doing what you know how to do, because you are doing what you love doing, it will bring about job satisfaction. So these are all advantages of division of labor. Any questions about that? Good. So go to the disadvantages. One of the problems with division of labor to an individual is that you become bored based on the fact that you repeat the same routine. Yeah, you repeat the same routine. So that means it's repetitive. So you might get bored doing the same thing every now and then. But for me, teaching is not repetitive. It's not boring because the way I'm going to explain to you might not be the way I'm going to explain to him. Your situation might not be the same as his own situation. So every now and then, teachers will come up with new ways of doing things.
New ways of explaining.
Explanation. So it won't be like the normal one. So you shouldn't get bored while teaching. Aside that, teaching is more of lifelong teaching. Like we call it lifelong education, because while you're teaching, you are learning too. Do you understand? So lifelong learning, yes. What is lifelong learning? So now the first problem about division of labor or specialization is that boredom. People get bored because they repeat the same routine. This is most likely to happen. Okay. So that's the first one about problems regarding the division of labor or specialization is that repetitive work gets employees or workers bored, and it reduces their productivity. You know, when you get bored of doing something, the effort you put into it would reduce. That means productivity would fall. That's the first point. Let's see what they said again here. Yeah, they said the boredom may lead to dissatisfaction and affect motivation. We talked about it already. Repetitive tasks can also have health implications for workers, such as joint wear. Another serious problem of workers that might be too specialized is that the risk of unemployment. Well, the first problem about division of labor is that you continue to do the same thing every now and then, which might lead to boredom. And boredom will bring about demotivation and dissatisfaction. Clear? Then the last thing about specialization is that you could be replaced with machines. So that means specialist workers might be out of employment sooner than later. Do you get it? So that is the point there. Is it clear? So we move on. So division of labor and the businesses, right? Generally, if workers are more specialized, efficiency improves and the business can make more profit. However, there are also some disadvantages regarding division of labor for firms. What are the advantages of division of labor for firms? One, efficiency is improved because through specialization, workers can perform tasks more quickly and more accurately. There are fewer mistakes and productivity will rise. People who try to perform a wide range of tasks may find it difficult to develop the skills needed to be excellent at each one. Therefore, their productivity will be lower. the first advantage of product division of labor or specialization to business is that it brings about efficiency. Workers that are specialized, that are skilled in one aspect will do more. They won't waste resources. And because they are not going to waste resources, it means the business will be making more profit and output will increase. That's about efficiency. But if you think about workers that are not skilled, that they want to do everything, they might not be able to develop skills to impact on each activity or task they have.
Yeah.
But when you have skills on one specific aspect, you continue to use that skill to develop that skill on that aspect. Or if you can't use one skill to do different tasks.
Yeah.
So it becomes difficult. You won't get it done the outcome will not be as effective as it should be.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Second advantage, a greater use of specialist tools, machinery and equipment is possible when worker specializes. This improves efficiency. So because you are specialist, equipment will be attached to you. Machinery will be attached to you that suits your task.
Yeah.
And because it is your task, it is what you are used to doing, you would know the best way to use those equipment.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Just like a barber having a clipper. I'm a teacher, give me a clipper, I can hardly even make my shave with a clipper because I am not an expert. I have my clipper, yes, but I can't use it alone. I need to hand it over to a barber.
Yeah.
So the use of equipment becomes easier because he or she is a specialist. Is it clear?
Yes.
The third one, production time is reduced because workers do not have to waste time moving from one task to another. This often involves moving around the workplace, collecting tools, changing workstations, and resetting machinery. Specialists are likely to remain at the same workstation, repeating their tasks without the need to move around. Time wastage is reduced. You're a specialist.
Yeah.
You sit there. The things you need are around you. So you work. You don't have to go do there. You don't have to go there. You don't have to go there. You don't move around.
Yeah.
Movement is also time wasting. Do you understand? So with specialization, you have your equipment, you have your machinery with you. You are there, do your job because you are specialized.
Yeah.
Let me set another example. Like in our school, we have the business department. So I am stationed there. I teach business, economics, and accounting. So the students come to me. So I'm stationed. That's a special department. So I'm stationed. They come, and as soon as they are done, other things will come.
Yeah.
It reduces the time I have to arrange my laptop and all these things. It takes time.
Yeah.
So time is not going to be wasted because it's a specialist.
Yeah.
I'm not like other teachers that it's elective subject that they have to go to the classes. It's not math. Here, all the students will come and they take the subject and they go back. Other students will come and they go. So that reduces the amount of time you have to spend arranging things before the time, before you know it, the time is already done.
Yeah.
So that's what specialization will bring about. It reduces time wastage.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yes.
And the last one, the organization of production becomes easier. This is because specialist workers can fit more easily into a structured system of production, such as a production line. As specialists, you have your design. So whatever the structure is, in as much as they are needing you for a specific task, a specific role that they feel you're going to fit into. So you are not just like any other person. You are specialized. You are specific. So if there's need for you, you will fit into that structure. They won't need to find a way for you to fit. No, the structure will already have created a space for you because you are special. You are a specialist. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that means it doesn't give up. Firms, organizations will not need to spend more time to find people that will fit in, because all what they need to do is make a structure, then the people will fit into that structure. Is it clear?
Yes.
So these are the advantages of specialization to businesses. Now, what are the problems of specialization to businesses? Number one, if the tasks are too repetitive and boring, people become dissatisfied and poorly motivated. And if workers are demotivated, then it is expected of them to soften their productivity. It will reduce productivity. So demotivated workers, dissatisfied workers will not increase output, would rather reduce output. That's the first thing. Is it clear? And if that happens, the firm's profitability would fall because output is not increasing. Efficiency is no more there. Clear? The second problems can also occur if one stage of production depends on another stage. If one stage breaks down, all other stages may also have to be stopped or wait for that stage to be ready again. You know, we said division of labor is the breaking down of production processes into different stages, and each stage can be performed by different people. So that means if stage A is dependent on stage B is dependent on stage C, it means without the completion of stage A, stage B cannot start. Without the completion of stage B, stage C cannot start. So it means a breakdown in any of those stages would affect production. That's the first thing. The second one about specialization is that with specialization, firms become vulnerable to the specialists. So if they are not around, if those specialists are not around, production stops until they are made available. Is it clear? The third one, specialization may result in a loss of flexibility in the workplace. For example, if a highly skilled and specialist worker is absent and there's no one else with those skills, production will be disrupted. So, well, it links into each other anyway. So, here we're talking about specialist workers not always available. If they're not available, production will stop. The first one is interdependence. That means each stage needs to be done before another stage is done. And the last one I talked about was if a specialist is not available, work process stopped. That is what they talked about here. The specialization clear now. So the advantages are there, the disadvantages are there. So it depends on the organization or the firm or the business to decide what to do, considering the cost and the benefit of division of labor and specialization. Is it clear? Any question about it? So we have the case multiple choice questions. The first one. They said, which of the following is a non-financial method of motivating workers?
Job rotation.
Job rotation, good. Question 2. Which of the following is a reason why specialist workers might get bored?
Tasks can be very repetitive.
Can be very repetitive, yes, great. So that ends out chapter. Chapter, what is this? Chapter 15. Division of labor and productivity and division of labor.
Yeah.
Thank you.